Well, I'm very pleased that Julian Assange is finally released from prison. I don't know Julian Assange personally. Um, he, what he's accused of is it's crazy to lock someone up for informing the public of crimes the government are committed. The criminals who commit the crime should be in prison, not the people who reveal the crimes. The public always have to have the right to know what's going on. And the government are never going to investigate themselves, are they? They're never going to investigate themselves. Um, so I've heard some people claim Assange is a shill and all the rest of it. I personally don't believe that. But even if he was, it's much safer to assume that he is who it's claimed to be, so that he can be released. Because I think we must always protect people who are whistleblowers or appear to be whistleblowers, right? The thing is, we're lied to on such an industrial level, and they always try to put doubt in our mind about other people. I know this has happened to me in the past when I used to get impersonated heavily, and a lot of people fell for it. Quite, I thought to myself, how can you fall for that? I mean, it's a standard tactic to try and discredit people who are telling the truth. And you pay an enormous price personally for going down that road. Um, in many ways, it's much easier just to go along with the system. Trying to swim against the current is incredibly difficult and exhausting. A lot of people will misunderstand your motivation, will just assume that you have to be wrong. If you haven't got any, you need a big platform to get noticed. And even the people we see on television who appear to be well known, for example, Andrew Tate or somebody, these people are sponsored. They're not genuine. This is what they want you to look at. They don't want you to see, and he's sponsoring this kind of sort of phony masculinity. Not effete, obviously, but in a way just as phony as the gay stuff. Buy, get yourself, I've got 33 sports cars kind of thing. It's vulgar materialism and stuff, as if masculinity, you need to have tattoos and always be stripped to the waist and have a whole load of stupid Lamborghinis or something, and that is kind of masculinity. Yeah, sure, try and be successful. I'm not saying that's bad, but I don't really think you can be successful in this corrupt world without compromising, because if you're an honest person, they will come after you. I mean, I think the reason Assange was arrested wasn't just that he made available evidence of criminal government behaviour, which everybody has the right to know about, but also that they wanted to make an example of him to try and dissuade people who come across things that should be in the public domain from making them available. Officially, what Assange is accused of is absolutely makes nothing wrong. But they always give it's Official Secrets Act. He's putting lives at risk. No, I'm sorry. You can't go around to other countries killing their people, and then that has to be some sort of secret, because if we reveal the fact that they're killing people in other countries, their lives might be at risk. Hey, how about not killing people in other countries? Just like in America, even though they're providing a few bits of aid to the Palestinians by dropping fucking parachute heavy junk on their fucking tents. At the same time they're doing that, they're providing Israel with weapons and bullets and bombs so that the Israelis can kill all these people. Imagine that. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. I'm so sick of it all. And the average person is a moron, will never care. And that's why, we might talk to ourselves a bit. There are 1% of people who are genuinely indignant and interested in what's going on in the world, would like change, would like improvement. We're not looking to live in a perfect world. We know that humans are imperfect. There will always be problems. But our problems are being manufactured for us, whether it's the fake climate change, the fake viruses that I don't think even exist. I'm certain viruses don't exist. I think it's just a way to get people to panic over their health so that you can sell them the cure. In fact, sometimes the cure makes people ill. It gives you, mammograms, for example, and statins and chemotherapy and fortifications in food. Even something as simple as if you buy Weetabix or something, it's got lots of things that shouldn't be there, like niacin or thiamine and iron. You don't need them added. You can easily get them from natural sources. Adding stuff to your food, and they add it to our water, they add it to everything now. Artificial sweeteners, artificial flavourings, and even a lot of the natural stuff isn't that natural either. So I'm glad Julian is free. He unfortunately is going to go to Australia, where the government are just as bad as America. The British government committed a massive crime against this man. He should be compensated. He had to plead guilty in order to get some freedom. He's got children. He's done enough. I would have pleaded guilty on day one. You can't beat the system. The government are corrupt. If just to be released so you can have a cup of coffee and meet your family and have some sunshine on your skin, then if you have to plead guilty, even if you're not guilty, you just have to do that. So he's been forced to plead guilty even though he's innocent. But frankly, anything that's done under duress, for example, in Afghanistan, they used to torture people until they confessed. Right? But they wouldn't stop torturing you until you confessed. So what are you going to do? You're going to fucking confess. Of course you're going to confess. I would confess too. You have to confess. I mean, if you're being tortured, you have to confess, right? I mean, unless you're incredibly brave. But what use would that be? They'd carry on torturing you. And they did torture people, and they still torture people. The torture the Americans did in Guantanamo, and a lot of the American police, they get trained by the Israelis, and the Israelis torture people as a routine thing, including children. And these are the people we support. And if you point out that that's morally wrong, and obviously morally wrong, they say you're anti-Semitic. You know? We're living in a world of lies, you know. I wish I could do something about it. I've certainly tried. I don't have enough reach. My videos get no hits. I'm not even getting, you know, some of my videos getting no likes now. I mean, it's actually never been as bad as it is at the moment. And you know, I really wish I knew what to do. It's so difficult. If only I could have kept my existing channels, and they weren't, you know, I would have had quite a big following by now. But what they do is they make sure you have to start again over and over again, you know? And that's what they do. So it's pretty much very little online is truly free. Telegram, the guy who owns it, Russian, World Economic Forum member, YouTube, well, what can you say about YouTube? It's completely Zionist owned, massive censorship. Twitter as well, Elon Musk, another Zionist with his transhumanism and his scale electric vehicles. So government for 1.4 billion of PPA for one. I mean, think about it. The government destroys. The government even have to pay for that, and none of that stuff was useful. It was all Chinese landfill. In fact, it was landfill from the start. It would have no medical benefits at all. But there was a massive profits to be made, and when there's money to be made, the vast majority of people will go for the money. Very few people have ethics, you know. And all of us those of us who have taken the high road are going to be financially penalised, right? We're never going to thrive. We're not allowed to thrive. The system rewards conformity, rewards compliance. You know, when the COVID thing came, with all the arrows and the satanizers and stuff, the vast majority of people complied, even though it was senseless stupidity. It was even wicked to obey those kind of orders. And then people say, well, why did the Germans allow Hitler? Yeah, well, I think I know. We're actually worse. I mean, Hitler was actually much better than what we've got now. I mean, men and women were visibly male and female in those days. There wasn't all this transgender shit. A lot of the books that Hitler burnt were worthy of burning, right? Because they were perverted. They're trying to pervert all of us, and they've succeeded. They've succeeded. We've all been perverted through our education system, through pornography and stuff. And I mean, a bit of perviness is all right, I guess, but it's got far beyond that. You know, they're even directing pornographic material at children, and this has been done under the Conservative government. You know, people complain about woke. We have a Conservative government, right? They've been there for 14 years. The open borders, the LGBTQ, BLM, the woke stuff, the transgender stuff, the drag queens, all been done with a Conservative government. You know, they could have stopped it. If I was the Prime Minister, I would have. I mean, I would never be the Prime Minister, obviously, but if I was the Prime Minister and had the proper powers, I would have stopped it. That wouldn't have been, there would have been no discrimination against gay people. Gay adults can do what they like in private, but children's rights and right to a non-sexual upbringing would have been preserved. I would have prevented the RNLI from bringing in illegal immigrants, which in my opinion is a crime. If they insisted on doing so, I would ground their boats, and I would remove their charitable status, because participating in crime is not compatible with being a charity. So poor old Julian is now off to Australia. He's almost certainly a broken man. I don't know how anybody could retain their sanity after 5 years in solitary confinement. I don't know how anybody could work in a prison. You know, people get paid to do that. How can people work? I mean, I can't. Even to work in a prison would make me feel horrible. But hopefully the people who did work in the prison were humane and realised that Julian shouldn't have been there, and treated him with dignity at least. We live in such a corrupt world. I really despair, and it's not getting any better, is it? We've got elections. We've got some crap fucking football on. Fuck Gareth Southgate. He tried to persuade people to get vaccinated, as did others. Alan Shearer and all these other fucking muppets. Oh dear. Football manager Kinnear's daughter says Heading contributed to his death. Yes, and now they're trying to persuade women to get involved in football. Right. So are women also going to be complaining in a few years' time of all the injuries they get? Guess they will. I think they're already starting to do so. Trying to persuade women to become men or to do male sports. Right. There you go. Thank you for your time. But anyway, before I sign off, I'm happy Julian is on the way to Australia. The Australian government didn't treat him well. They treated him badly. In my opinion, he's a hero. I'm not going to listen to anyone who claims he's a shill, because I'd rather give people the benefit of the doubt. And the principle of what he was supposed to have done was good. Has he been made an example of? Yes. Is it a warning to people not to embarrass the government with revelations about all the crimes they commit? Yes. It's very intimidating if you know, I mean, do you want to spend years and years in prison? Right? And they know how to frighten people. And, you know, they'll kill you as well. They can easily kill people, and they do it all the time. Thank you for your time.